Hi there, and thank you for stopping by today. My name is Mohammad Farooq Anwar, and today I just want to start off with a basic overview of IaaS. IaaS is broken into two parts. The first part, the I, that is infrastructure, and the second part is as a service. And so, if you think of cloud as being just someone else's computer, as people say, which is running somewhere else, that's the infrastructure part. And so that infrastructure, if it's not on cloud, it could be running in a data center somewhere. It can be running in a closet somewhere. Even your laptop or your desktop is infrastructure. And then the AAS piece of is as a service. That's the billing method, and that's the way that you consume it. And there are other kinds of as a service. You got PaaS, platform as a service, SaaS, software as a service. For other cloud models, please look for my other video. Infrastructure really falls into three main categories. The first category is going to be compute. That's where the processor are, and that's where the actual lifting and computing gets done. The second piece is storage. Commonly, there are three different kinds of storage. And then the third piece, the piece that ties everything together, that's network piece. Without network, you can't do anything. Network is how the compute talks to the storage, and that's how the compute talks to other compute. We can break this down into two different pieces. And so in the compute side, the first one is called a general purpose compute. This is your normal web server or application server. It can be whatever general purpose kind of computing needs you have. The second and third really are more specific. So GPU is a graphic processor, and gamers might be aware of it. That's a very high speed processor that is used in conjunction with the traditional general purpose processor for a specific kind of workload. This is going to be graphics, machine learning, or AI. And then third piece, HPC, that is high performance computing. So there are specific kinds of workloads that have a very specific requirement for frequency, which is the clock speed, and the number of cores that are required, where lots of power packed in a very small footprint. That's going to be HPC. Then likewise on the storage side, there are different kind of storage because of different storage needs, right? The most commonly used one is going to be object storage. Object storage is a little bit of lower performance, but it is relatively inexpensive, and that's for general purpose storage. So what goes on into the object storage? Well, you can have things like pictures, documents. You can have really whatever you want to go into that object storage. It is where all of the data and all the graphics on the web server is residing. So coming to the second and third piece, they are block and file storage. These are specific kinds of storage, specific kinds of network storage, and they attach in a very specific way. Block storage attaches with iSCSI, and file storage attaches with NFS. It is the way that they mount into the actual compute itself. And there are specific kinds of applications that require block storage or file storage because each of them has their own features and benefits. And to connect all these together, we need network. Think of network as a pipe. And so a network pipe can be a small pipe that would be like pipe measured in megabits, so you can't press much data through it, or it can be a very large pipe that would be measured in gigabit per second. The more data you need to push simultaneously, the larger pipe you need, and the more bandwidth you need. It makes sense, right? The second way that we mention at traffic is how much data gets pushed through the pipe over the set period of time. Normally, it is built by the month, but it could also be built by the minute, by the second, or maybe even by the day or by the week. Depends on the subscription model. So, to give an example of something that requires some of these components, we can talk a little bit about an AI workload. In this example, we are using AI workload for automatic visual recognition of pictures. Let's say that there are a billion pictures down here in object storage that you are then going to use to train your model that is running on the GPU server. So you take that billion pictures, and since the billion is a lot and pictures are very large, you have to push them through a really big pipe, that is your network pipe, into the GPU server. But the GPU server doesn't have any local storage inherent to it. So that GPU server is actually going to take and write that into a block storage. So all those pictures will eventually go to GPU and to the block storage. And it is going to write the data back and forth until the model is done. Once it is trained, it is going to take all of the data and all of the results, and it is going to write all of that back down into object storage. Why object storage? Because it is less expensive. It's a good archiving solution. And a ton of data is pushed through the network pipe to get this all done. And for the as a service piece, this is the way that you consume. It described in earlier videos. There are kind of four things that really matter in as a service model. The first one is that the offerings that are consumed as a service is a shared multi-tenancy. Many people use the same offering and services simultaneously. The second piece is pay as you go subscription based billing. In the case of compute, it could be a certain number of cents or certain dollars per hour or per month, depending on your usage. In the case of storage, it will be billed in the amount of data that is stored in a given month, or that would be cents per gigabyte per month, or even hours or minutes. It depends. In the case of network, there are two different metrics I discussed earlier: the size of the pipe and the amount of data that goes through the pipe. It could be per day, per month, or per hour, or per year, depending on the billing cycle. And then the third piece, and this is a very important one, it is that there are no contracts or string attached in as a service model. You only use it when you need it. It is on demand. And then the last piece in as a service offering is self-service. That means you can go out to a website, you punch in your information and payment details, click the go button, and that as a service offering is going to be provisioned and delivered to you. And amazingly, it is not something that takes days or weeks or months to set up and configure. It's one that can be provided in minutes or even hours. These are few public IaaS cloud providers which you can on daily basis. Thank you for joining. If you have questions, please drop me a line in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.